Hi Capricorn, welcome to your May 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, I'm actually going to be taking a bit of a break from those. I might start them up soon, so just keep an eye out for the community section of the channel for any updates as far as that goes. And worst case, by the time I post the June videos, I have an update there as well. As far as what we have in front of us, we have a Celtic cross spread, and then I also pulled a couple of oracle cards and a mudra card, so plenty to get to. We'll get started with the main situation position, which is for you guys the star card. So this is actually the major arcana card for Aquarius, so this could be pointing to energy around Aquarius energy, which could be saying that maybe for some of you, you could even be doing some humanitarian work. Maybe you're, doing some type of charity work, for example. Obviously, I'm sure there's plenty of needs for that, depending on where you are in the world right now. For others of you, though, this could also be saying that you might have gone through a bit of a tower moment yourself recently, because this actually is the card that follows the tower. And usually the tower, I've used that card, usually it's a type of divine intervention type energy, and then I view this as the dissolution of ego. So it's like one of those things where, maybe you might have taken a blow to the ego recently, but usually the good thing about the star card is it shows that you're on the right path. So whatever the situation may have been that got you to this point seemed to have been for your overall improvement. And of course, your ruler is Saturn, and it recently moved into Aquarius, and it's actually going to be going retrograde this month and eventually coming back into your sign. So a lot of energy at play there too. But yeah, main thing I'm getting with this is I feel like for some of you this represents more of a healing period that you might have been going through, and you're actually on the right path now, but there might have been a bumpy road in the not too distant past. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Five of Wands. This is actually Leo energy here, but also it usually points to competition, some ego battles as well. So maybe this was even a situation where there might have been an ego conflict with someone else, possibly even a group of people. And maybe you're coming out on the other side of that now. This could even say as well, for those of you, like I said, maybe if you're well off or you just feel the urge to give back in some way, shape, or form, this could represent that there's a lot of organizations that, are trying to get your energy, whether it be your time, your resources, possibly your money, right? So that could be what's at play there too for some of you. And for some of you, this could just say that maybe within your friend group, there might have been some conflict. There is going to be a full moon this month in Scorpio, which is your 11th house of friendships and groups. So maybe there is some conflict there, and maybe you've learned from that and grown through it as well. And I would say the last thing this could point to is maybe there's the opportunity to engage in this kind of a conflict, and maybe you actually decide to turn the other cheek and not even engage in it, and that could be a sign of your growth in that regard too. In the foundation position, we have the Hermit. So this is actually a Virgo energy, major arcana card for Virgo, and there is a lot of energy going on there for you guys in May, which is your 6th house. Well, excuse me, Virgo, the natural ruler of the 6th house, I should say. And in your 6th house of Gemini, there's going to be a lot of activity going on there as far as you can have Venus is already there, and then it's going to turn retrograde in May. Mercury's going to be moving through there as well. Obviously, the sun will get there towards the end of May as well. So this could just be saying that maybe within your work and day-to-day routine, you could be looking at switching things up there, maybe really analyzing, that area, looking for maybe some places where there's room for improvement. And this could just be saying, again, especially for those of you who did go through a tower moment recently, this is also another thing that you might do after that as well, right? This could just be saying that you might be withdrawing into yourself, really trying to look at things from a more analytical standpoint, right? Maybe trying to, see, okay, where did I go wrong, right? What can I do better in the future? Things along those lines as well. Trying to see if anything else comes to mind with this card. I mean, in a way, I feel like we're all being a bit more introspective now, right, with the way things are going on in the world. But that's what I'm seeing there. Past energy for you guys, we have the Eight of Wands. So this represents a lot of activity taking place, a lot of movement. And you guys, not too long ago, you did have Mars in your sign, and now it's moved on to your second house of Aquarius. So it could just be saying that in the past you might have just been really busy, and that could have even led to a burnout for some of you. Maybe that's even what the Five of Wands is saying too. Maybe you were in a very competitive work environment, for example, and maybe you're really pushing through, especially with the uncertainty going on around finances and job security, right? So maybe you're really burning the candle at both ends to try to get ahead. And maybe that's what might have led to that star situation where, like I said, maybe you eventually did hit a brick wall of sorts, especially when Saturn moved into your second house. Maybe it, was like that signal that you needed to slow down a little bit and take some time off. So maybe that's what we see there. In the present position, we have the Ace of Cups and the Five of Swords. So these two cards together, what I'm seeing here could just be saying that, for one, maybe there's a new offer at play. So let's just say, in a generic example, a new job offer, right? And then this could just be saying that, could be a job that's highly coveted. So people might be tempted to do underhanded things to try to get the edge for that job, right? So you could see similar energies there with the Five of Wands and then the Five of Swords. And so maybe these are connected in that regard too, which is to say that maybe that is what's at play. Maybe there's a new job offer that drops within your workplace, right, for a promotion of some kind. And maybe others in your work environment might be trying underhanded things to get the edge to get that job. Whereas you, with the star energy, might say, you know what, I'm not even going to engage in all of that. And in that regard, it might actually end up working out in your favor. I think Virgo got a similar energy to that too. So if you guys also have Virgo in your chart, you might want to check out their reading. But yeah, that's what could be going on there. For others of you, of course, this could also point to love as well. So this could just be saying if there's a love offer at play, maybe you want to watch this person's intentions. Could definitely be some deceit at play there. And possibly this could even just be saying that maybe there's someone, either multiple people want you, so there could be someone in your environment that's jealous of that and tries to get in the way, or the person that you're trying to pursue might have a lot of people after them, and there might be some deceit at play there with someone trying to sabotage the connection between the two of you. Good thing is, though, either way that energy may play out in the near future position, we do have the Ace of Swords. So this is going to represent some clarity coming through from you. So whether this is regarding finances, romance, or anything else, having the Ace of Swords in the near future does represent that, what may seem a little bit shady in the present, give it a little bit of time and you actually start to see it a lot more clearly. For some of you, it could be after that Scorpio full moon, since this is Aquarius energy, and like I said, that full moon will be in your 11th house. For others of you, it might take a little longer than that, maybe even when we start to get towards Gemini season. Maybe, especially if it's around the workplace, maybe the new moon in Gemini would be a good time for you guys to see the workplace dynamic more clearly. If you feel like there's something a little shady in that area as well. All right. And the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Three of Pentacles. So this is actually a Capricorn energy, and a very good Capricorn energy as well. Represents the middle 10 degrees. I view it as a mixture of Saturn and Venus, where, Saturn lends that long-standing, stable, long-lasting type of energy, whereas Venus adds the beauty to it, right? The enjoyment to it. So this could just be saying that you're working on something that you enjoy doing, maybe something that you've been working on for a while. You've been building it up slowly. So that might be the best bet for you too. And maybe even, even though we do see what looks like some collaboration here, this might be saying that it could be a good time for you to just, really just rely on yourself this month, because it looks like there could be some less than reliable energies in your environment right now. So at least for the time being, maybe it's best to focus on yourself and really, work on your own for a bit. In the environment position, we have the Seven of Swords, Knight of Swords in reverse, and Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So two Knight energies here. This is actually Gemini energy, and this is Virgo energy. So I would say, again, this is another thing that makes me think that it could be something around the workplace for you guys, given that Gemini represents your 6th house. Virgo energy here representing your 9th house. So I would say definitely if you have dealings with, let's say, maybe some kind of foreign investments, perhaps, right? This might be a good time to try to avoid those types of dealings for the time being. Again, this is Aquarius energy here, and Aquarius for you guys is your 2nd house of finances. So as far as a timeline, I would say watch out for that time when Mars is moving through the last 10 degrees of Aquarius, which would be, give me a second, I'll let you know when that will be. Pretty much the first half of May. So watch out for that first half of May, because Mars will be moving through those degrees, and then and not to mention, I think that's around the time as well when your ruler Saturn goes retrograde in Aquarius. So any types, I feel like business dealings is primarily where this is pointing for most of you. I would say definitely be careful around any business dealings early on in the month, especially. And the good thing is, though, with the Seven of Swords energy, they're looking back, but they're running right towards the Ace of Swords. So to me, that's a good indicator that whomever this is, whether it's, just pointing to workplace energy in general or some types of finances, or this represents some kind of friendship or relationship. The good thing is they're looking back, but they're running right towards the Ace of Swords, which to me says that there's a good indicator that they're going to be found out this month. So whatever deception is at play, looks like it won't last too long because they will be found out this month. In the hopes or fears position, we have the 10 of Cups, the 7 of Pentacles, and the Knight of Cups. So for some of you, especially given that there's 2 cup cards at play here, this could definitely be saying that this is you hoping for some stability in your love relationships, especially given that this is Taurus energy here, and for you guys, Taurus is your 5th house of love and romance. So that's one way that this could be playing out, saying that you're hoping for that offer to come through, right? Maybe you have been very focused on finances, and maybe you've gotten to a certain point, and maybe you have achieved a certain level of success, but maybe you feel like that could be the one area that's lacking for you, right? You're like, okay, well, I have these, I've achieved some level of financial and career success, but I'd like to also have the love life part, right? That could be what's at play for some of you. For others of you, this can represent within the workplace too, though, where maybe you're looking for some type of a promotion or at least a raise from your workplace, right? For them to show you their appreciation through that, right? Where you feel like, all right, maybe you've been at the job for 7 years, for example, and you're like, okay, well, when is this going to pay off for me, right? So that could be how it's playing out for some of you as well. And in the outcome position, we have the Hanged Man. So I actually view this as Pisces energy. And for you guys, that represents your house of communication. So to me, I feel like this is saying, again, like I was saying there, to just really be careful and cautious around business dealings this month, especially, like I said, around the time of that Scorpio full moon, because it's going to have Neptune in the mix. And even though it's a supportive position, it could be one of those things where even if there's not flat out deception at play with that energy, it could be one of those things where someone might present something to sound a lot better and it actually turns out to be in reality. So they might actually believe in what they're saying when they tell you, but then when the reality fleshes out, it might not be all it was cracked up to be initially. So that's something to keep in mind there. I feel like this is just saying that for this month, especially if you guys have gone through something rather, major lately, and even if you do feel like you're on the mend and you're on the right path, I feel like this might just be a good month to just hang back and relax a little bit. Let things, let the energy shift a little bit in a more supportive manner. Like I said, the 2 weeks, first 2 weeks in particular, I would say definitely try to watch out for that energy. And then maybe after mid month, things should subside a little bit, but that's what I'm picking up on there. And then I do have to say at the bottom of the deck, we do have the Three of Swords. So this can definitely represent some disappointment that you've been feeling, and maybe that's even what led you to that star moment, right? Maybe you had a tower moment that led to this disappointment, and now you're recovering from that. That could be how it's playing out for some of you. And I do have to say that this is actually a card that represents the middle 10 degrees of Libra. So for some of you, this could go back to the time when we had that full moon in Libra. And given that Libra is your 10th house of career and social status as well, this can be disappointment around career. Like I was saying, we could see where that could be to play, right? Maybe where someone, maybe there's competition within the workplace. They're all trying to get the same job or something along those lines. And maybe some people do some behind the scenes shady stuff. Or maybe you feel like your workplace isn't committing enough to you as far as you don't feel like they're, giving you the support you feel you deserve, whether it be actual through finances or even just showing more appreciation for what you do. You could be feeling underappreciated in the workplace. So that's what I'm seeing there. All right. Moving on to the Oracle cards, the first one we have is Observer. All right, well, it doesn't want to focus, but there you go. And there's the artwork, and the number is 49. So let's take a look at that. I would say that definitely makes me think of the Hermit energy and also the Hangman energy. So maybe this is more of an indicator that you should just, try to be in more of an observatory mode this month and not try to push things. It says perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. The Oracle's message. Most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be so happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find. So definitely an interesting message there, because when it talks about considering the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now, that is something that makes me think of that star energy there, that Aquarian humanitarian energy there. So maybe that's what you guys are taking into consideration. Like I said, for some of you, this could be around maybe you guys want to do some type of charity work this month, or maybe even make some kind of donations, but that's just for some of you. The relationship message says sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees in your way. Feelings can get all jumbled up, and often you hear one thing when a person says another. It can be like an echo of an unresolved past experience dubbed over your conversation. Take time out before you react. It's likely the other person has no idea how his or her words have affected you. Take a few steps back and lend understanding to the situation. Have faith in your connection and trust that you can come together. Take to higher ground now and cultivate curiosity about what you observe in yourself, in others, and in the landscape. You will find things much improved sooner than you know. So that's an interesting message there too, because taking that into consideration, the way that this energy could be playing out for some of you, because like I was saying, especially with that full moon that we were talking about, where I was saying maybe people might not even be trying to deceive you, but like I said, they might actually believe what they're saying at the time, but it might just be a misrepresentation of reality with that full moon trine Neptune. And so maybe that's even what's at play here with the Ace of Cups energy, where someone might actually be saying something that's meant to be complimentary to you, but even you might misunderstand it at that time because of the energies at play, and then that might cause an issue. So, and then maybe that's what that's saying there too, which is to say, because of confused communication, given that we do see two cards pointing to Mercury energy, that there could be some conflict that might arise. But for most of you, like I said, whatever deception there is, so try to avoid engaging in conflict. And then, so even if you think something is a little off, just try to give it some time to pass, because then, like I said, I feel like any dishonesty, if there is any at play, would come to light anyway, or any confused communication would become clearer probably after mid-month. All right. Okay, and then the prosperity message says it is an advantageous time for you to get some distance from what you're doing and see your work and your projects from a different perspective. The trick is to connect to the essence of your goals and aspirations while letting the form and timing be dictated by spirit. You may be too personally attached to an outcome and unable to see the miracle because it's not turning out exactly as you planned. Trust spirit. The perfect version of your abundance is right in front of you. Remain neutral and curious and watch the miracle unfold. So definitely an interesting message there too. And the only thing that really comes to mind with that was primarily with the that Seven of Pentacles energy. So maybe that's what that energy is playing out as for some of you, where you might feel like you're not as far along as you hoped you would be at this time. Maybe this is saying that, it might not seem that way to you, but with time you actually see that you're right where you need it to be. All right, and next we have Brown Bear Spirit. It says, take time out. So there's the artwork for that, and the number 9. So this is another card that makes me think of the Hangman and also the Hermit energy. And it's also number 9, like the Hermit is, so could be some significance there too. Okay, it says, there is a time to act and a time to focus your attention on patient strategizing. The arrival of Brown Bear Spirit signals that you are best served by foregoing hard work towards your goals at this moment and instead taking the time out to meditate, or just take a nap so you can refresh yourself and begin planning what you want to co-create next. Come to know the lay of the land as you contemplate and imagine what you might do in this vast space of possibility before you, and begin forming a plan. Remember, sleep allows for dreaming, and rest allows for clear-headed strategizing. How might you become the person you wish to be and experience whatever your heart desires? Insights will arise as you explore the possibilities and begin envisioning your plan. Knowing what you want will ensure you use your energy wisely in the days ahead. Be patient at this time. Relax and be calm and peaceful so you can recharge. The call for action will come later. So definitely a good message there. And like I said, for you guys, your ruler is going to be going retrograde this month too. So that might have you feeling a little bit out of sorts and maybe, a little bit confused. So this definitely might just be a time to lay low. Venus is going to go retrograde in your 6th house as well. And so if there is anything a little bit off in the workplace for you guys, what I always say with retrograde energies, for me, those are good times to just let things karmically play out. So if you feel like you have been done wrong in some way, shape, or form, or if you feel like someone in that environment is doing something a little bit shady, I would say just let that energy take care of itself with the retrograde. All right. So we'll wrap up. Oh, actually, I almost forgot. We have a mudra as well. So here's your mudra for the month. It's the Kilaka mudra, and the keyword for it is union. All right, so let's get the info from it. All right, there you go. So if you wanted to take a screenshot of that or pause it so you can read it, you can. But It says tonifies the water element in the body, improves the function of the kidneys, bladder, and sexual glands, fosters a sense of emotional safety and comfort around intimacy and sexuality. Can also be used as a devotional gesture to express or evoke the union of masculine and feminine. So if that sounds like something you think would be beneficial for you guys, I will put the name of the mudra in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.